Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the NJ1ST podcast. My name is Ryan McDonald. Thank you for tuning in. I have another guest with me today. It's a New Jersey young Republican, Generation Z. I myself am a millennial, so please sit down, share, like, and it'll be good information. We're going to be talking about the county ballot line. Today, I have with me Brendan Czuczuk. He's from Mercer County. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
And if you could just introduce yourself to the NJ1ST viewers, just a little bit about yourself briefly.
No problem. So right now I serve as the secretary for the Mercer County Young Republican Federation. I was elected to that position last year. I'm very glad to be a part of it, and it's a wonderful opportunity. I got to meet a ton of new people, especially Alex Solomon, who is our chair right now. He's a great asset to us, and I'm very glad to have him as our chair. I also am involved in the campaign side of politics. So most recently, I served as the campaign manager for Michael Hurtado for the 15th District State Assembly. He didn't run with a running mate, unfortunately, due to us being 10 votes short of getting his running mate on the line because he didn't register before the primary election. So we had to do a write-in campaign. Happens. But one of my more successful recent elections was I was the first person in almost 40 years to get a Republican elected to Trenton City Council in the North Ward. Jennifer Williams serves as the North Ward City Council member, and I'm very glad to be helping her out. She was a major asset in 2021 for our slate against the line, and we'll talk a little more about that later. And I'm just overall glad to have her as a mentor, and she's partially the reason why I wanted to come on here today to talk about it. So
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, you can give us your experience and what you know about the county ballot line. And I'm more cover up North Jersey, and you are, I guess, in Central Jersey.
Yep.
And that's great that there's Mercer County young patriots as yourself, even just Republicans. I have been doing this for 5 years, 6 years, and not many people have been coming out publicly. Yourself, being a patriot, free speech oriented. That's great to see. And so we can just go straight off for the county ballot line. I'll just describe it a little bit, and then you can give us your experience with it. So the county ballot line, I don't know. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but I pay attention and mostly learning from the Democrats because they're on the ball with the county ballot line. So the county ballot line in New Jersey is only the only state in America that has the county ballot line. It is chosen at party. It's chosen during the party convention. And there's 3 ways of which I've found out that they do this choosing. It's either 1, just appointed by the chairman, or 2, it's voted on by the committee members, or 3, there's an actual vote of the members of the county, not just any committee members. If you're a Republican member at the convention, there's different ways to choose the county ballot line. And I don't know how Mercer did, but Sussex was the only county that didn't have a county ballot line. There was a couple other ones that do, but go on. Go on.
Actually, Salem just joined them recently. So now it's Sussex and Salem don't have the county ballot line. But in Mercer, we have it elected by the county committee. I am a committee member, so I partake in the convention. And basically, any candidate who wants to come and speak, give a reason why they want to run, they just have someone nominate them on the floor. They give a brief speech, and then we hold a vote. It's on a card. It's very simple. But I've experienced that the issues with our line are the fact that we don't have many committee members who are actually dedicated to coming to meetings and understanding what the issues are about. And some of these people may not even spend more than half of the year in Jersey. They're just vacationers at this point. So I feel like it's important that the residents of the place know exactly what's going on, especially if they're going to vote at a county committee meeting for candidates that we're going to endorse. I personally am against the system of the county endorsing candidates during a primary election. For the Mercer County Young Republican Federation, we as a organization have decided not to ever take sides in a primary election until after it has occurred, because we want the people to give their voice without any of us trying to weigh in or sway the overall mean of the voters. We want them to hear what the candidates are talking about, and we don't want our chair telling us, who to vote for. And that seems to be the case when you come to these county committee meetings, because if you have a candidate who you support that's likely going to be off the line, it seems like the people who would also support them aren't at the committee meeting. Why? Did they get notified the committee meeting was even going to happen? Are they in town, or were they notified ahead of time that there was even going to be a committee meeting? Those are the questions I ask, and my experience with it is our chair has not been very helpful with any campaign in assuring that we're unified, organized, Especially, I experienced that in our LD15 campaign when the chair scheduled a county committee meeting a day before our first fundraiser, which was very interesting. And she immediately canceled the event the day right, maybe 3 or 4 hours before our event. And I think it definitely hurt turnout because people thought there was going to be a committee meeting in Hamilton when we were having an event in Lawrence. So overall, it just seems to me that the county ballot line, and especially the influence of the chair, is very important. And I think that's like the key thing we have to talk about is county chairs and how they play a role in all this. I know most of the counties just pretty much get appointed by the chair, and then you ask the question of, well, why are they getting appointed? There's plenty of reasons. Is it money? Is it friendship? Is it political connection? Is it you owe someone something? Like, to me, those are the questions I ask when someone gets appointed and it's not selected by the committee. But even in Mercer, when we have a county committee vote, it's clear that our chair is definitely trying to sway it one side or another. And that's why I got involved in 2021 in the Mercer County primary. We ran a full slate of candidates under the governor. We got placed on the ballot line with Phil Rizzo, despite us all being Catholic, which was very interesting. I didn't run on the race, but I was a major contributor and partial campaign strategist. I couldn't really help out as much because I was at school, but I did my best. More recently, I've gotten more involved, and now I commute often to do events and, try to stay involved as much as I can. So.
And this is great information from an NJ GOP insider, in a sense, someone who knows the in and outs of it, because you said you were a committeeman. And so this is good information for our viewers because I myself am an independent. I just registered Republican to vote in the primaries, but that's not enough. If you want to have a say in the process of choosing the county ballot line, like I said, there's basically three ways. Either your chairman chooses it, your committee members like yourself choose it, or there are a process where a Republican member of the county would have a choice in choosing that. It sounds like Mercer had the committee, which is fine because I like it that yourself as someone who's on the inside saying that it's, there's problems on the inside, even though that you are a part of a process where the committee members choose it, which is fine. There's, like I outlined, there's three that I've came across in New Jersey. And what you mentioned with the dates and bringing up meetings and stuff in Hamilton or whatever, I'm going to bring that up with my Morris County up here in North New Jersey, where the insider party politics talks about. But myself being independent, basically votes Republicans. We vote in the primary. So the county ballot line chooses the endorsement for the county, and basically anybody who votes Republican votes down the line Republican. And that's what we want people to start looking into, that maybe there are other candidates on different tickets. Like you said yourself, you were on the Rizzo ticket rather than everybody else looking at Chitterelli. So I want to just go into the chronological timeline that we had since everybody, election integrity has been on the mind of people for the last 3 years. And we can talk about, just like how you did, to, meander through this whole thing. So in 2020, the COVID pandemic happened. I was excited for a primary. To be honest, I was excited to see people debate Donald Trump. Nobody, not even in the NJ GOP, nobody wanted to debate with Donald Trump. I understand, because y'all want to get on the ticket and run underneath them. That's what people did, and it was a great success to an extent. Okay, but for the county ballot line decision, since the whole shutdown of New Jersey, the whole shutdown of America went through communism with our voting, they were just appointed. They didn't even have the conventions. There was instances even in North New Jersey where the county ballot line was just chosen by party bosses. Crazy. And everyone knows what I'm talking about, but some people forget. This was just 3 years ago during the pandemic. We didn't even get to choose. Even people such as yourself, committee members, didn't get to choose. And then in 2021, in Morris County, up here in North New Jersey, we had Laura Ali from the Morris County NJGOP, and she did exactly how you said before, changed the dates on which meetings would occur, that votes would occur, and there was a pushback to try and get rid of, to not introduce this line, but the Morris County NJGOP introduced the line in 2021. And then as well in 2022, there was a op-ed released, some research done within the NJGOP with Frank Pallotta and Brendan Gill and Jack Ziza, the chairman. A lot of circus stuff happens with the county ballot line, and I don't want to bore people too much with going into that, but what this really comes down to is the NJGOP party bosses. And we have them up here in North New Jersey, Jose Arango, for Hudson County. We have Jack Ziza for Bergen County. We have Doug Steinhardt for Warren County. And now we have a newly LaBerba for Sussex County, which might be a pushback from the status quo in the NJGOP. So basically what I'm saying as a non-Republican member, I'm not a Republican member. My vote doesn't matter within these county ballot lines, conventions, or whatever. People got to get involved. And maybe I have to get involved as well, but people who are Republicans call themselves Republicans. If you're not a Republican member, guess what? It might not be as much as you think you are a Republican. Anything off the head on those words?
No, I fully agree with you. That's why I got involved in my county committee. I got my dad was lucky enough to grow up with and meet my municipal chair, Frank Lay. Great guy, love him to death. He's a great man, and he understands how to win Hamilton. And despite sometimes being at odds with our chair, like I've said, he continues to push through. He tries to get what he can for the candidates, especially if they're on or off the line. He doesn't disrespect people who are off the line. He's very open-minded, and that's what I like to see in Mercer County politics. I wish that we had more people on the committee who thought that way, but like I said, it comes down to filling committee seats, and I really encourage people to get involved. Every district in your municipality has 2 committee seats. So my dad and me serve in Hamilton District 9. There's over 60 districts in Hamilton. So, if you're living there, you might as well put yourself on the ballot. It's only 2 petition signatures. You and a friend yourself can sign your petition, and you are valid to be on the line or off the line. And it doesn't really matter. There's no limit on how many people you can run. Some people don't have any elections because no candidates run, and they're never even told that the county committee is an election that you can run for. It's really crazy, and I wish that's the most grassroots part of it. I wish people tried to go there first and not work at this top-down approach and work at the bottom-up approach. If you did that, you'd have more people involved at the county committee, which means more people are going to be involved at the state committee, which means more people are going to be involved nationally. It's a process, and people don't seem to recognize that.
And people such as yourself, I mean, I have an open platform. I invite anybody from New Jersey to come on and talk. Just take the opportunity. A lot more people will see this, and rather than just the same mainstream narrative of, well, you can't do anything. Actually, not even. I'm going to amend what I said. They don't even bring it up. Like you said, they hide the fact that there's county elections and that you can participate. So if there's nobody like yourself coming on telling us to get involved, that's not going to happen. You're right. And so I've come to the county ballot lines informationally from the Democrats, as I've said before. They've done the best at researching, pushing back against it, to be honest. I did see that Hirsch Singh actually won a lawsuit. He was sued, I believe, by Rick Mehta during the 2020 primary for the county ballot line. And he actually got that dismissed, I think, or something like that. So he came out of that on the high end. Hirsch Singh is the only candidate, ironically, because I don't support him. I've been paying attention for the last 5 years, but Hirsch Singh is one of the only candidates that I've seen that has actually brought it to court, against the county ballot line. Others I've mentioned, Tricia Flanagan and Greg Millet. They've battled the signature petition process where Republicans in New Jersey take them to court to throw them off the ballot because they don't like their signatures. It's interesting, but Hirsch Singh, I'll say it again, was strong on it. And I'm going to segue this to the Democrats. So the NJDSC, which a lot of people might not even know what that means. Ironically, there's more followers of the NJGOP on Twitter than there are the NJDSC, but they run the state. So the NJDSC has party bosses just the same as I've described the NJGOP bosses. And actually, a Essex County Democrat informed me that is how Governor Murphy won in 2017. His name wasn't even involved in 2016. In 2017, he came and bought every single New Jersey Democrat state committee chair, and probably the municipalities, the big municipalities, Patterson, Atlantic Cities, things like that. So that's how Murphy got in. And a lot of people don't know about that. But what I have found is that there's a pushback in the left Democrats, progressives. It's to abolish the line, just as much as I support abolishing the line.
Me too.
But it's by left wings, left wing radicals, by communists, by socialists, by independents, by progressives, by liberals. But there's nothing on the right wing. There's nothing on the Republican side, conservative side. But the issue I have with the abolish the line from the leftists is that they're egalitarian, but they bring it to diversity, the DEI even of what we're talking about. So they believe that there are too many white men elected in positions of power in the county chairs. And I think that's just completely ridiculous because one, they don't even go into like the ancestry and stuff of that. Like there's plenty of people who have multiple backgrounds, such as myself. And look at me, I'm completely white. And right. And so I do find it ironic, but I can't help but applaud them because they're taking on the party bosses when Republicans aren't. You want to give any opinions on that?
So yeah, I think especially with my congressman right now, he's running for Senate against Tammy Murphy. He was the first one to say against Goldbar Menendez that he was going to run and try to take him out. And despite me not voting for Andy Kim ever, and in fact working as a campaign intern for Bob Healy for Congress, I liked to see that Andy Kim was taking that stance, and to see that Tammy Murphy is likely going to get the line all across New Jersey, even in Mercer, which blows my mind. It really goes to show that the party bosses play so much of a role, and the people don't understand that. They just see in a news article or a Weinstein article that, oh, Tammy Murphy got the line in this county. Tammy Murphy got the line in this county. This county is still deciding or haven't talked about it at all. And it shouldn't be something like that. I feel like that's something you pose to the voters. That's something that you let the people decide. And at the end of the day, if you're not going to give that to everyone, then maybe there shouldn't be a line where the counties are making a decision before the primary. Maybe they should just make one when the general's around. And like I said, I like that system because in the Mercer County Republican Federation, that's how we do it when we are thinking about endorsing candidates. And we are allowed to endorse candidates on our own individual level. But at an organizational level, we won't make endorsements during a primary. And I think that would be the way that the NJGOP should move forward. And it'll allow more people to get involved in the process. And if you pound, like I said earlier, county committee seats, you're not going to have to worry about people not showing up to committee meetings because there will be social media that will inform you. I'll be honest with you, our county chair is not the savviest on social media, and it doesn't seem like they want help. And it seems like money that we could use to, boost our social media presence and get out to voters directly is not being used. I think that's a very important strategy that come 2016, everybody was talking about, using social media. And it's just, all you see is that the most successful New Jersey Republicans have a presence on social media. They're trying to get whatever message they have out, whether it's a conservative message, a moderate message, a liberal message. At the end of the day, they're speaking directly to their constituencies and maybe even people outside of their constituencies. If you're not doing that, I don't see how you can grow a party. And it's especially clear that the Democrats do that better than us. Their county committees are filled. They have people in and out, and they know that they can just have a new chair and the old chair can come back in 5 years because everybody's happy with each other and there's no internal argument. They're so unified, and it bothers me that the NJGOP can't replicate that. But the only reason they can't is simply because we're not trying to fill county committee seats. And my take on that is the responsibility is to the chair. They're supposed to fill these committee seats. If they don't, why are they chair? And that's why, especially in Mercer County, I don't know if you've seen the articles going back all the way to 2020, 2021, even in 2023, that there have been calls to remove the Mercer County chair. And whether or not you have an opinion on that, I think it's an important thing to talk about because it's clear that the Mercer County party right now is not anywhere more successful than it was 15 years ago when it comes to winning elections.
And you're not talking based off of ideology or anything. You're talking about results and stuff. And we'll get into maybe ideology at the end, just real smally. But my question for you is because the NJGOP for the last 4 years, since Doug Steinhardt was on that stage with Jeff Van Drew, made the announcement and reiteration that we are there, not we, sorry, that you guys are a big tent party. You want people like me to come in, you want to accept all these people. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But my question for you is, should we align with these left-wing radicals, liberals, socialists, because they want to get rid of the county line? Is there a way that we can work together? Maybe. I don't know. I'll give my opinion, but I'm wondering yours.
So I think when it comes to working with Democrats, I'll be honest with you. One of my political mentors, my first political mentors was a Democrat. It is the Mercer County executive-elect Dan Benson. He was my key club sponsor during high school, but he sponsored the club. So I really appreciate him for doing that. It was able to get me involved in, volunteering and civic service. So I really appreciate him for that. And I think we can work with Democrats on this issue, especially like I said, I've never voted for Andy Kim, but I'm willing to submit that Andy Kim is on the right in this issue, and I'm not afraid to say it. And whether or not I get praised for it or not, that's not the issue. The issue is you need to call importance to the problem. And if you don't do that, you're never going to fix the party. It's just that simple. You want to see results, you have to put in the work for the results. And I praise Andy Kim for doing that on the Democrat side, but we need to replicate that on the Republican side with candidates on or off the line. Whether or not you agree there's a line or not, you need more candidates involved. And you should never have, if it's vote for two, there should never be just two on that ballot. There should be a decision. There should be some contrast. And when you have that contrast, people are more involved. And that's why in the 2021 primary, people thought that the turnout was going to be low for Republicans in that election. But what ended up happening is a primary reinvigorated voters, and the election was very, very close, especially for state committee women between Jennifer Williams and Ilyana Schumer. It was a 200 vote difference. So I think it comes down to these people just need to get involved. And if you want to get involved, first try to contact your county chair. If that doesn't work, which most of the time it won't, contact your municipal chair. They're likely going to be more receptive to you. They know the area you're in. They'll be friends with someone and maybe you can connect with them on that. And it's harder to connect with a county chair who has a lot of responsibilities, especially with the state, and some of them being party bosses in it for their own reasons. I think the municipal chairs also have a responsibility of keeping the county chair in check. And the way the municipal chairs can do that is to try to fill the seats if county chairs aren't. And sometimes that's the way we had to do it in Mercer. We started filling committee seats without our county chair. Like I said, I was approached to become appointed to the committee, and I'll have to run for election in 2024. Whoever is on the line, off the line, it doesn't matter to me. I'll run. I think that's important. And it was all because of my municipal chair telling me to get involved. And now I know my county chair. I've gotten to meet her a few more times, Lisa Richford. But at the end of the day, I haven't seen any results. And she ran for Mercer County executive against Dan Benson, and we underperformed. And I think that's just a symptom across all of New Jersey. It was clear we underperformed this election. And there's plenty of reasons for that. But for me, involvement's the biggest one. And I think everyone who's talked about the issue has kind of nailed that, but they're not nailing it hard enough. If you want to be involved, you have to register Republican. You have to talk to your municipal chair. Like, it is a process, and it is sometimes a daunting process, especially if you're in a large county with a large amount of people.
Sure. And just two last things, probably. I'm not going to let Andy Kim get off that easy, because Democrats should be saying this. And I'm so upset that Democrats aren't saying this. But I have seen the articles coming out, like you kind of alluded to, where Andy Kim is taking the stance against the county line. I don't buy it. Andy Kim is just a political party boss as much as the Murphys at this point now. So what I am disappointed in not seeing is Democrats coming out and speaking about what happened in the past. This is a man who ran for the first time in 2019 on the basis of not voting for Nancy Pelosi. He will not vote for them. And there was a whole Mikey Sherrill that wasn't going to vote for and they voted for her. They reelected him, even though that he voted for, he lied. He didn't fulfill his promise. They reelected him in 2022. Okay, whatever. But Democrats, you got to know the past. It was just 3 years. It was just 3 years ago. Okay. Now, what I'm seeing in these articles that are showing Andy Kim take on the county ballot line, in the articles, it shows that he has the support from the progressives. He's not a party political boss. He has the support from the progressives, from everybody else in New Jersey that's a liberal, not with the Democrats, a liberal, right? But the articles aren't citing that these leftist progressives are also on the principle that we have to get rid of white men in all elected county office, and they're radical, more aligned to the BLM leftists. I just had to say that out there, and I'm sure you've seen that too.
No, and I fully agree. And I think like I said, the only thing I can thank Andy Kim for is bringing attention to this issue. No more than that. You can't really say more than that when it comes to it. At least now he's talking about it, and whether or not he stood against it in the past, it's a question now that more people are asking me about, like you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever been contacted before by someone who wanted to talk about this on a podcast or even in person. This is not something that's talked about at county committee meetings. Like, maybe in Salem and Sussex it was, and that's why they don't have the county line anymore, but we're not having these conversations in Mercer. I don't know if you're having them in North Jersey, and I think that at least with Andy Kim doing this, whether his intentions are there or not, and like I said, I never voted for him. I don't think they are there. He's at least bringing attention to it, and that's the most important thing, because that gets more people involved.
Yeah, I've actually seen some Democrats who are in favor of the county ballot line saying Andy Kim just ruined his career. You know, he's not going to win. You don't know that, and you don't know that.
Yeah,
but
they're just claiming things. They don't know it yet.
So, and we'll end this with a question to you, not necessarily about the county ballot line. You can answer if you want. If not, no problem.
I'll gladly answer.
But it does have to do, my opinion on it has to do with the county ballot line, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about voters. We're not talking about ideology. That's a different topic. You know, we're talking about voters, turnout, getting people involved. Like you're saying, that's the epitome of what activism is, of what politics is, you know. So the question for you is ideology. And whenever I've had what was her name? It's off the top of my head, but there was a Mercer County Legislative District, Skygo Martin. And I had her on the interview, and it was a great interview. And as soon as it was finished, everybody loved it. Everybody loved it. But there was one person, one anonymous troll, obviously, that is a Mercer County Republican Party member, you know, someone who's in the party. And they cannot get over that Jennifer Williams aspect. They cannot get over a progressive, globalist, foreign aid aspect. And it seems like different parts, not northern. Actually, no, it seems all parts of New Jersey have people that support it. I went to Bergen County with Mike Crispy, America First, and he came out against Ukraine. You might have seen this video. If not, I'll send it to you after. And he came out against Ukraine. He got heckled by New Jersey Republican in Bergen County. So it's all over, you know, and it's 50-50. But any opinions on that in regarding to ideology with the NJGOP?
Absolutely. And I think, especially when you bring up Ukraine, as a Ukrainian American, we had a very interesting conversation about what that really means and being a hyphenated American. I think people forget that Ukrainian Americans used to be Republican voters. They voted for Chris Christie both times. They voted for Christie Whitman back when she ran. These Republican voters are conservatives. They just support foreign aid to a country that is severely in need. And I agreed back in 1994 and 1996, when the Ukrainian government was a clearly corrupt institution that wasn't running itself correctly and bribes were being taken and made. But especially after 2014 in Euromaidan, where you see the fleeing of Yanukovych back to Russia. I know everybody has an opinion on Zelensky, but I think the important person to bring up, the Ukrainian president right after the revolution, Petro Poroshenko, is the man we should be talking about, because he was the first one after Yanukovych to say, this is how we're going to do democracy and republicanism moving forward. This is the path Ukraine's going to go down. He outlined NATO and the EU as policy goals he wanted. Whether or not people like the EU or not is at this point inconsequential, because it seems that Ukraine's only allies are people within the EU. It seems like people within Russia don't want to support Ukraine anymore, despite us 25 years ago having a much better relationship with them, like we did under Boris Yeltsin. It seems like ever since Putin's been in charge, there's been a sympathy within the NJ GOP of authoritarianism, outright authoritarianism. And I'm not going to label people like Orban, who are just outright populist. I think populists are their own group in every political party. I think they're an important aspect of voters that you need to capture. But there's a difference between Orban's populism and people liking that and people supporting Orban versus people who like Vladimir Putin and people who've dismantled the institutions of democracy. And when I see that NJGOP people like Mike Crispy come out and become anti-Ukraine, it just shows that they're out of touch with New Jerseyans. And especially when you have huge Ukrainian American centers like we do in Mercer. Our county chair, Lisa Richford, despite me not agreeing with her all the time, is also a Ukrainian American. So it just goes to show that even at the top level of the NJGOP, there is a sense that Ukraine is important. And if you're going to discount it, and if you're going to disregard it and say America first, well, then you're ignoring that the military spending's already been appropriated. That money's going to go somewhere. It's not going to go into the pocket of the American citizens anymore. That money's been appropriated to the military sector, and there's not much you can do about that. And if you want to lower military spending, that's your own prerogative. If you want to raise it, that's your own prerogative. But at the end of the day, you need to have an opinion on it. And it seems that people like Mike Crispy, and I thank my former Congressman Chris Smith, I got out-districted. It's a shame that he got out-districted from his hometown of Hamilton, but it is what it is. It happens. At the end of the day, I'm glad to see that Bergen County Republicans were willing to heckle him on it, because it's an important issue that I think many NJGOP non-involved citizens, people who say they're Republican supporters, but like you are independent and don't really come out unless it's a presidential election year, it's hard to take their opinion seriously because they're just seeing one issue at one point in the year and not thinking about it for 4 years. You have to be involved. At the end of the day, it's always about involvement. And if you want to be involved in the day-to-day, to month-by-month, to year-by-year basis, get involved in your county committee. Vote in every election. Become part of a party. Even if you want to be a Democrat, at least you're getting involved. Independents need to realize that they can't stay independent forever. You can't stay in the middle forever. You need to be able to look at both sides and see that one side's saying something better than the other, and you need to be able to recognize that. And if you don't, and you're trying to play both sides, depending on what election year it is, you're not really doing yourself a favor, and you're not doing your fellow neighbors a favor.
Okay. Thank you for your opinions there. I don't necessarily agree, but I would love to have you on for another episode. We can talk about Ukraine, and everything that Brendan just said is in the context of voting, and in the NJGOP of the ideology, but for voting, like this video is about for County Ballot Line. I'd love to have you back so we can talk about international relations. I know more people want to learn. So that'd be awesome. And where can people find you if they want to have you on their podcast, interview you on social media?
I'm on Facebook. I have LinkedIn. I have a Twitter. If you type in Brendan Czuczuk, you'll find all of them, I'm sure. I also have an Instagram, but it's going to be a little bit harder to get me on there. So I recommend Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. I'm glad to reach out. Thank you so much for having me here, and I'd be glad to be back again. It was a great podcast.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going to schedule another one, and we'll get your face out there more, but also so we can have this conversation. People won't have this public conversation. They're afraid. Right now, this shows me you got cojones. You're not afraid. So thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone, for watching the NJ First podcast. Please subscribe, like, share. I'm going to be uploading a lot more content in 2024 for New Jersey. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching, guys.